applies to the school. The school has a process and a committee that decides on whether or not they want to partner with that business. And there usually is a dialogue ongoing between the school and ESD. Why? Because we would really like to coach folks in advance of doing a tremendous amount of work, that if this company isn't the right one for the program, we want to tell you early. Why would they not be a right one for the program? There are a few industries that are excluded, and they're mostly service-based, so retail, hotel, doctors, lawyers, real estate brokers, insurance guys, that doesn't qualify. But when we are evaluating the company, we look to the specific product and service that will be done in the zone. So for example, Starbucks can't come in, but the guy that makes the cups or the guy that roasts the beans can. Insurance companies don't qualify, but we have one insurance company that bought an IT company in France to figure out how to do an app on the iPhone for figuring out what your net worth is. Okay? So we review that kind of thing. Downstate, which is defined as Westchester, Long Island, and New York City, there is a restriction on industry. It has to be high-tech or a company in the formative stages. In the formative stages is a term that's defined in the tax code in New York State. If you've been marketing your product for 2 years and you're still only 2 guys, you're not in the formative stages. It's a classic startup. And ESD, when it finally gets to, high-tech. High-tech is technology, biomed, advanced manufacturing, that kind of thing. So if you are in that space, we ask you to give us a description of your company so we can send it up the ladder and figure it out. Okay? ESD has 60 days. Let's back up one more time. Before the application can be filed, there has to be a 5-day public notice period. Why is that? One of the provisions of the statute is that you cannot have a competitor in the community. Okay, that's fair, right? Community is defined as the area, the census tract that the tax-free area is in, as well as all the contiguous census tracts. So we put that out to the public and see if anybody raises their hand to object. But again, we look at the product and service that's being done in the zone. So Apple and Google are competitors, right? If I got Apple in a zone designing the iPhone 7, and I got Google in a zone not in a zone, creating a new search engine, that is not a competitive product or service. Okay? Comes straight down to what's actually being done in the tax-free area. And we run a fairly rigorous test. There's these things called NAICS codes. We take them to 6 digits. With biomed and IT, that's not helpful, because I think all biomed and IT companies have the same NAICS code. So then what we have to do is we work in conjunction with the Department of Labor, again, with the precise description of the product or service, and we go out and we look into the community and see if anybody else is there that fits that description. So we're trying to be fairly robust about this whole thing. What has been interesting is the counter, okay? We are finding that IT companies and biomed companies in particular, and digital media, like to cluster. And so they want to be together. They like, I guess the term is bouncing off each other, all right? They like to be close to each other. So in the Buffalo, in the city, there's an awful lot of that going on, and it's actually attracting more companies to get into the zones once others are admitted. So let's talk again about numbers. 54 companies were admitted in 2014. We've already approved 40 in the first 3 months of this year, and the acceleration is picking up. Companies are getting in, universities are seeing that it's working, the word is getting out in the community, but for some people who don't like it, and it's rolling. It's creating its own momentum. Now, the other thing is, let's talk about the advertising for a moment. That advertising has been fantastic for the state and for the programs. Why? It's creating 2 things. It's creating a brand, and it's creating the perception in the minds of people that New York is open for business. New York wants you to come to New York. New York wants you to stay in New York. Why do people do money spend money on advertising? Why do people spend all that money at the Super Bowl? To get their name in your head. Now, if I was to mention right now a little green lizard or say hump day, everybody pretty much knows what I'm talking about, right? I want to get to a place when site selection people and real estate executives are coming up with their list of 5 that New York pops into their mind because they saw one of those commercials. And now it's not such a crazy idea to consider New York as one of their options. I did this for a living for 30 years. If 5 years ago I had gone into the senior executives and say, I know we want to start this new operation, I think we ought to take a look at New York. They would have laughed me out of the room. Now, they would take me seriously. Now, when I talk to brokers, when I talk to site selection executives, when I talk to others in the industry, they're like, that's really cool. That's a great program. We got to tell our clients about that. I'm proud to represent it. Is the short answer. The marketing has also brought us a tremendous amount of leads for the other programs that we have. Startup is the name for the program, so everybody's got a startup, things I should call Startup New York. Well, by definition, if you're not making any money, you're not paying any taxes, you probably don't need a tax program, right? But we have the incubator system in the state. Stony Brook is one of them. We're feeding all those leads to the incubator system so that they can start there. And the idea is you build the ecosystem so if the company starts in the incubator, it can graduate, go into Startup New York where it'll continue to get financial benefits and it stays. Why is a tax benefit a good thing for a growing company? It's a good thing for 2 main reasons. One, it lowers your run rate, so your expense level is less. And why is that important? Because if you're a growing company, you're probably spending money on equipment and maybe more staff. And that would be hard to avoid if you had the full freight all at the same time. So ideally, while you're in the tax-free zone, you amortize the cost of that equipment that you got. Oh, by the way, you have a really loyal workforce because they just got no income taxes for 10 years, and they stay. So we're trying to build the whole thing. In addition to the incubators, we have other programs at the state. We have the Small Business Development Centers. There's one of those here. We have the Excelsior program. The Excelsior program is probably suitable for some of the big companies that are very capital intensive. Brewers come to mind, but I already have 3 breweries in the program. Talk about cool. Okay, I'm going to brag in a few more minutes about some of the cool companies we have in the program. But Morrisville Community College, some of you may not know where Morrisville is, but it's up there. They are partnering with Empire Brewery. They are enhancing their brewing studies program, and they are going to help the brewery manage the brand new 30,000 square foot facility that they're going to build. That's a very cool relationship. I have another brewery that's looking to another community college, and they're partnering with the chemistry department on how we can do things more advanced with hops. I'll brag right now. I've got hydroponic gardeners. I've got these guys that make these like Google glasses so that when you're in an industrial environment, you can see 360 degrees so that you can avoid industrial accidents. We've got a robotics company from South Korea. We've got another robotics company that we're working with up north that lays mason blocks so that construction workers can reduce injury. We got the guy downstate that makes leather and meat out of a test tube. Never hurts the cow. I looked at it, I didn't try it. He's from California. I mean, we're getting companies from out of state and from out of country in addition to growth companies in New York. We've got Bach up in Buffalo. It's owned by this Danish couple who are very wealthy, so they decided to give back. So they went down to Haiti after the hurricane and they set up a housing company to build up affordable housing. Then they came up with the idea of creating a small tablet that's cheap so that kids that are underprivileged can buy an inexpensive tablet for educational purposes. They were looking at the United States, they looked at Pittsburgh, they looked at Detroit, they didn't feel the love. Somebody told them about startup, we got them in touch with UB, they're up there now and they're a walking commercial for the program and for Buffalo. They've already produced 3,000 tablets and they're hiring people more every week. They made a clean room in a former industrial building that had been sitting empty for a long time. The examples go on and on. And like I said, the coolness factor of some of these companies is beyond even the imaginations of some of the faculty at the schools. I'd like to read to you the names of the 19 companies that have been admitted here at Stony Brook, and if you are in the room, which I understand there might be a few of you, I'd like you to stand up so we can give you a shout out. We have Grid Bridge Inc., which is from North Carolina, and they have designed a system to modernize the electrical grid. We have Polynova Cardiovascular. They are a surgical appliance company that is trying to cure heart disease. There it is. We have Guided Interventions, which is another medical device business from Ohio, and they try to treat asthma. We have Sanitec LLC, who's from Florida, and I don't understand what they do, it's too complicated. It's something to do with a flow meter related to oil and gas pipelines. Are they here? All right, we'll have, some of this, if you can understand what it says, it means you probably are a competitor. Killer Content. They are an independent film company that's merging from another company from Delaware, and they're going to do digital media. Jasmine Universe is an energy management system. ProGen Incorporated does in vitro diagnostic substance manufacturing. Zuzno, they're my company from Israel. Are they here? These guys are moving their headquarters and their lives from Israel here at Stony Brook. Flight Partner Technologies. All right. You are our former pilot, is that correct?
Yes, 29 years.
And we're doing a SaaS business that provides, tell us what you do.
We're aggregating aircraft availability from around the world and bringing it to the marketplace in a B2B solution. In other words, tech guys.
Right.
Software as a service.
And Anshell Technology, Inc., which is a formative stage company that's trying to sell a device used during eye surgery to prevent post-operative blindness. Okay? That's a really nice sample of companies. Think about it as a student here. Those people are working with your faculty. Makes you feel a little better about going to the school, doesn't it? Not that you didn't feel good already. You didn't have a big red sweatshirt on. But, this is going on elsewhere as well. Another good story here on Long Island, Farmingdale. Farmingdale had a company called OSI in the Broad Hollow Science Park. And Broad Hollow started with one building and insisted on having both buildings. Guess what? They got bought by a Japanese firm and they left town. Okay? We are putting that property, those two buildings, into Startup New York to try to bring the jobs back to where they once were. And we're going to try to bring multiple companies in, so once again, we don't have all our eggs in one basket. So far, they've got 2 companies that are going into their incubator building. We've got LIUs in the program as well. We're working with Hofstra and a number of the community colleges to get their plans finalized. The enthusiasm is there. It's very clear that biomed and technology is big on Long Island, and we're trying to promote that. We are going to step up the marketing in another direction shortly, and you'll be hearing more about that. So with that, I'm happy to take your questions. Oh, you got that hand up fast.
I actually have a lot of questions, but the first one I want to ask is there a cost to be in the program?
No, you just have to say you're going to